What does a data engineer do? This is the most common question people have when they get started with the data engineering, but the answer is not straightforward. I have talked to many different people who are working in data industry, and most of them work on different technologies, and the work they do is also different. This is where the confusion begins. We keep asking these people different advices, roadmap, and many different things, but each time we ask them, we always get different answer. You can divide data engineering roles into different categories based on the skill set. Different companies have different problems. Companies need data engineers to work on those problems. So a person working in Netflix might have completely different experience from a person who is working on Amazon or Google. There is no comparison which work is better. It mainly depends on the company you are working in and what type of problem you are trying to solve. It also depends on your interest and what type of problem you want to work on. So in this video, I want to mainly focus on different roles of data engineers and different work they do based on their roles. I will explain you everything from what type of work they do, what are the different technologies they work on, and many other things that are really important to understand if you want to become a data engineer. So make sure you pay your attention carefully and watch this video till the end. Now before you understand different roles of data engineers, let's talk about our today's sponsor, ProjectPro.io. The best way to learn anything is by doing hands-on practice. When I started learning data engineering, I used to find some hands-on projects online, but I could not find anything. That is the reason I created hands-on projects on my channel, but it used to take me a lot of time to create those projects. I wish I had ProjectPro when I was getting into data engineering. ProjectPro is a curated library of verified, solved, end-to-end project solution in data science, machine learning, and big data. All the projects are created by top industry experts from top global tech companies. Here you will find end-to-end project solutions, reusable codes, guided videos, 24/7 customer support. Get access to more than 2000 code recipes which are absolutely free, and buy the subscription plan to get the access to more than 120 solved projects. Visit ProjectPro.io to know more about this and subscribe to ProjectPro YouTube channel. You will find all the links in the description, so make sure you check it out. And let's get back to our video. We will divide data engineering into 3 different categories. So let's start by understanding the first category. This is the category where as a data engineer you will be working on databases, data warehouses, building dashboard, metrics, and doing analytics on top of it. This is like a first step. Whenever anyone wants to become a data engineer or want to get into data field, they will work on the analytical side of the things. Even I started my career in data engineering by building dashboards, data warehouses, and helping business to take decisions based on that. In this category, you will be mainly working on relational databases and data warehouses. You will be writing a lot of queries to extract some information that business needs. You are an expert of database concept and you also understand the business requirement. So you are like a middleman. So whenever business wants something, you go and understand the tables, what are the different tables you need to extract those information. You write query, build dashboard on top of it, and then give the business final outcome. So you need to understand basic database fundamentals and how to write SQL queries. Some important concepts such as joins, window function, group by, having clause. These are the basic SQL fundamentals you need to understand. On top of that, you also need to understand how to work with data warehouses and build dashboards so that you can gain more insights from that. You also need to have the understanding of ETL pipeline, extract, transform, load. So whenever business asks you something, you go on relational database, write some query, build an ETL pipeline, transform that particular data, and put that data onto data warehouse so that you can do some analysis on top of it. So you will be mainly working on relational databases such as MySQL, PostgreSQL, MS SQL, then some ETL tool. It can be enterprise tools such as Alteryx or Informatica, or it can be simple Python script or SQL script. Then after that, you also need to understand some data warehouse technologies and dashboards such as Looker, Data Studio, QuickSight, Tableau, etc. So you will be mainly working with business stakeholders, understand the requirements, and trying to solve their problem by writing some SQL queries, building dashboards so that they can take decisions and they can also improve business. Now in the category 2 of the data engineers, you have the knowledge of category 1, plus you also need to understand some of the tools such as Python, Airflow, dbt, etc. So as an entry level, you will be mainly working on the things we discussed in category 1, but as you get more experience and more knowledge, then you will be slowly transitioning into category 2. In this category, you will be mainly working on how data moves from one point to the next point, building some APIs to make things faster and efficient. You will spend more time writing code and doing automation so that you can build proper data pipeline. So in this category, you also need to understand basics of DevOps, development and operation, how to develop things and how to deploy them so that it runs smoothly, understanding how to build data pipelines, understanding how to work with tools such as Airflow, dbt that we discussed earlier. So if you are working in a startup company, then you might have to do everything by yourself, from building relational database, building data pipeline, deploying them, testing them, building data warehouses, then dashboards and all the other things. It also depends on the company that you are working with. You are mainly focusing on building end-to-end system, helping business to solve their problem using technologies and making sure everything works as expected. You might also work on some machine learning model where you are training, testing and validating those models, deploying them into production. In my first job, I got the first project where I was working on machine learning model. I had to train that model, test that model, and deploy that model into production. So I was working on everything from feature engineering, cleaning that data, training that model, and deploying it in the production. But again, that also depends on the company that you are working with and what kind of problem you are trying to solve. So it is really important to have the open mindset when you are working in the data industry, because things will be different for the different people and you need to be open to learn whatever comes to your way. Data engineers in the category 3 usually have skills of open source and distributed system. The big data field is very old. Companies have been using many open source tools such as Hadoop and Spark to solve their problem. All the data engineering projects are done on high scale. So you will be working with a large amount of data that you need to process in short amount of time. Open source and distributed system make these things possible and easier. As these technologies are developed on Java and Scala, you also need to understand these languages to work on this system. Hadoop ecosystem has many different components and most of them are built on top of Java. So if the companies are using these tools and if they want to make any changes, then they need people who understand this system and understand the technology behind it. Same with the Spark. When you deploy the Spark environment in your system, then you will understand it natively supports Scala as its programming language. In this category, you might be working on a senior level or as a solution architect who helps companies to design the big data system and their architecture from end to end. Knowing how to connect different tools and make them work together to process terabytes and petabytes of data is really important skill to have in this category. And these things comes with the experience. So if you are a beginner, then you will be working on analytical side. Then as you get more experience, then you will work on the end-to-end pipeline design and doing some automation and deployment. Then as you get more and more experience and become a senior level, then you will start designing all the solutions and building reliable system to help companies to build their data system and manage their data properly. Most of the time you will have different people working on different things in single teams. Some people will work on analytical side, some people will work on deployment, and some will work on designing and building scalable systems. So you don't have to learn and understand everything when you get started, but as you work and get more experience, then you will start understanding the bigger picture of data system. So which one are you? Are you the combination of different categories? Let me know in the comments. This video was inspired from this blog, Confession of Data Guy. If you want to understand more about these things, then you can check this blog. I will put the link in the description. And again, as always, don't forget to hit the like button. If you are new here, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That will help my channel to grow and reach more and more people. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.